You know, Super is really starting to ramp up and it's starting to get really good. I thought this was a really good episode and we had some more of that amazing animation in the second half of the episode primarily. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. We're going to go ahead and talk about episode 122. I didn't intentionally rhyme there. But anyways, episode 122 of Dragon Ball Super. So let's go ahead and break it down. So this was interesting because it just was one of those episodes where it's seeming like, you know, Universe 7 doesn't stand a chance. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you watch the way that Toppo is here bodying and just absorbing a Kamehameha from Gohan. He just took it and it didn't do anything to him. No scratches, nothing. He's fine. He's taking a Kamehameha. He's taking a blast from Android 17. He's good to go. Dispo is, I don't want to say he's bodying Frieza, but then towards the end of the episode, he does use Frieza's tail against him, and Frieza seems to be incapacitated. Of course, I don't think Frieza's out that easy. He never even went golden. And then, of course, the way that the Vegeta, Goku, and Jiren fight played out in this episode. In the beginning, Vegeta was just getting bodied, and then he kind of adapts to Jiren a little bit, and then towards the end, of course, Vegeta does get laid out. And of course, Goku is not really up to par with Jiren right now. I mean, he started off kind of going blow for blow with him, but that could have been just talked up to being like a warm-up, basically. So, by the way that they are portraying the fights in this episode, again, it looks like Universe 7 doesn't have a chance. But we, the audience, know better, right? We know that they're going to have tropes built in for Universe 7 to win. Universe 7 is going to find a way they're going to prevail ultimately. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the possible outcomes and some of the things that I really did enjoy from the episode. First and foremost, again, amazing animation. That was just awesome. I loved it. It looked really good. It reminded me a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and I love when they do that with that shading and stuff. It looks really, really good. One thing I want to say, though, I'm going to bounce around a bit in this. One thing I want to say, though, is that Super is really starting to play up the idea that people have been talking about in the fandom for a bit, that maybe Vegeta doesn't get UI, right? Maybe Vegeta just sticks with Super Saiyan Blue and proceeds to master that form while Goku gets Ultra Instinct, but they still stay on par with one another and still take, Vegeta still is able to fight on an even level, or maybe just a little bit weaker than Goku, because sometimes Goku has to be the stronger character because he's got that main character plot armor. But you know, Super's really starting to act like that's what's going to happen. And if you saw the outro, I don't want to take too much into that, but that ending shot showed Vegeta with like darker shading on his hair. Again, I don't want to take too much out of that. And then also his pupils look a little bit different too. So that could be a possibility, man. And I honestly wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm sick of them having the exact same stuff. You know, I feel like it's been played out. Everybody having the exact same thing, which is why I love that Gohan does not have to go Super Saiyan anymore. He just, he's just ultimate, and I love that. I love that so much, and I love the diversity. And then, the fact that they're blue now as opposed to being golden and stuff like that. And that's why I love Trunks, no matter how many how many naysayers there are. I loved Rage because it was different. It looked a little different. It wasn't exactly different, but the aura was different. The no pupil thing, it looked different. So that's just me. But Super's really starting to play up that idea, that notion that maybe he doesn't get it. Of course, he tried to force himself into it, because we remember when Goku fought Jiren and he unlocked UI, he said, hey, I'm going to get that. I'm going to try to get that. So in this episode, he blatantly threw himself at Jiren to try to unlock Ultra Instinct. And there was an instance in there where he started being able to detect Jiren's attacks, and I thought to myself, hey, is this guy gonna, get the hang of it? It started to look like it. And then Whis even talks about that just a couple minutes later. He's like, hey, he's trying to unlock Ultra Instinct. And then they flash back to that exact moment I just talked about where Vegeta was able to adapt and dodge a few of Jiren's hits, right? So it really gave me that idea for a second, but then towards the end and then the next episode preview, I kind of started feeling different, and then some of the things that are said in the next episode preview really make me feel that way. So let me know your thoughts in the comments if you guys would be opposed to that, or do you just want Ultra Instinct Vegeta, right? I mean, Ultra Instinct is such a weird concept anyway to me, because it's like it's a form, but it's not a form because it's a technique, but it's also a form because they change appearance, right? So another thing that I took away from this episode is that, again, Toppo is probably going to be too much for these guys, and I don't know what that says about these characters, because it's 2-on-1. Goku was SS Blue Kaioken versus Toppo. It's safe to assume Toppo is about that level, right? But 17 and Gohan were at least SSB level. Well, I don't want to say Gohan was there. I say 17 was, because he actually fully fought him. If I recall correctly, Gohan got kind of just knocked out by Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So still, two characters that are very powerful against one fighter, right? Maybe that changes, but it just seems like Toppo is too much for them. And what happened to Dispo? Like, Dispo was getting rocked earlier to me. Like, he just seemed like he was outclassed by a lot of the characters, like Hit and stuff like that, and Super Saiyan God Goku. And, you know, he just seems to just be demolishing Frieza. Of course, Frieza has not transformed, so again, I don't want to put too much credence into that. I just expect Dispo to be in a position where he can't even touch Frieza. So we'll see what happens from that. But yeah, it just seems to me like Topo in particular may be too much for these guys. They may wind up beating Topo because I really expect them to. But the thing is, Topo is going to put up a very, very competitive fight. It's also possible, just putting that out there, that Frieza does not beat Dispo. And in fact, that somebody else beats Dispo, you know, just somebody else that's in the arena. Because I feel like Dispo is probably low on gas. He's just not really talking about it. But then at the same time, I kind of get the feeling that maybe he's done some of that Goku, spontaneous healing. And, you know, the episodes try to act like these characters have had time to really heal and recover their stamina. But really, they haven't. It's just been a matter of a few minutes. In fact, this whole episode takes place within the time span of 1 minute. All the things that were said is 1 minute of Dragon Ball time. So they try to act like, and they have tried to act like, these characters have had a chance to recover. But I guess Universe 11 has had the opportunity because they've been just chilling in the cut, basically, the whole time. One thing I do want to say is that Jiren is ridiculous. Vegeta powers up this full power Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue, Final Flash. Jiren says the force of that was not half bad. Vegeta thought that he had him laid out. He thought he was done, right? And he starts even, you know, doing the chuckling thing that Vegeta likes to do. He let his arrogance show. In fact, the fact that Jiren called him on the arrogance, too, is pretty funny to me. But he thought he had him done. He laid him out. Jiren pops up, and he just incapacitates Vegeta. Jiren is a titan. This man is a freaking monster. And the thing about it is Goku is even saying, hey, Vegeta, you just got a lot stronger. Of course, concentrating that energy into a single point, into a blast, that's not something that's new to Dragon Ball, right? That's something that's been done since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, back in Dragon Ball. But just for a context idea, just for a example, beginning of Dragon Ball Z, the Makanko Sapo, I can't even think of the... a special beam. I can't even think of the regular name now. It's too much Dragon Ball, Japanese. But the special beam cannon, right? He charged it up. They were individually not strong enough to beat Raditz, but he charged it up, and it was more powerful than they were, ultimately. So that's not a new concept. Vegeta reached a new height of power at that point by doing that, right? So he even did all of that, gave it right to Jiren, right to the face. Jiren didn't dodge it or anything. See, this is going to be pretty wild. It's going to come down to some crazy stuff. And, you know, there was a lot of talk about maybe Jiren is overhyped or overrated. He probably was overhyped due to the fact that this was a tournament and this has been a long arc for Dragon Ball Super Standards. But he is definitely not overrated. He is by far the strongest person in that arena. You know, and it's not even close, especially if Goku's not UI. It's not even close. Like, they're going to have to find a way for Goku to progress and finally master Ultra Instinct if they're going to beat Jiren, because really Goku hasn't got there yet. He, even in Ultra Instinct, I don't think can beat Jiren right now unless he pulls some tricks out of his bag and you know, is able to prevail a little bit further. So aside from the fact that Jiren is just a complete monster, one other thing that I did take away from this is that Vegeta, he definitely, like I talked about earlier, it's kind of sounding like he's gonna go a different route, but he has a lot of room for improvement. I feel like Goku gets talked up so much, and we forget about Vegeta because, again, Goku has that I'm the main character plot armor and stuff like that, and he's always in the spotlight. We forget about Vegeta and the fact that Vegeta has been right there with him this entire time. So it's really starting to look like he will get some sort of power-up. And then, of course, in the next episode preview, they talk about how Vegeta does get another level of power, right? So that's just pretty much what I took away from this. Jiren the Titan. Topo will probably beat Gohan and 17. If not, they will have a hell of a fight on their hands. Frieza is not powered up, but Dispo seems to be winning that fight by a landslide. But I expect when Frieza transforms to be able to take out Dispo pretty easily. I honestly don't think that's going to be too big of a fight. I think that's going to be the least climactic, of course, because Dispo is the weakest from his universe remaining. And then, of course, the other two fights are 2v1s. Well, at least right now, I guess Vegeta, I don't know when Vegeta will come back, but it seems like he's coming back next episode, but I don't know how long that'll last is what I mean. But that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on the episode and some of the things that I talked about in this review. If you did enjoy the review, please consider subscribing for more every week, every single episode. Been doing it since episode 1 officially aired on well, I guess on the internet for us, right? Because it came out way over there earlier. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys in the next Dragon Ball Super review. Take it easy, guys.